It is now 3 o'clock. It's time for the school board, the Desoto County School Board, to come to order. Let's stand, please, and say the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
I have a recommendation to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. The superintendent's report.
Madam President, got a few things to discuss this evening. First of all, we just completed our 8 graduation ceremonies. I know all of our board members attended all 8 of those, and I know the students and teachers and administrators appreciated y'all being in attendance for those events and supporting all of our schools. Also, I want to point out that our seniors had over $90 million worth of scholarships for college for next year. So we're very proud of the class of 18, and we look forward to seeing what they accomplish in the future. And I know Dr. April Hopefield, Sky Industry Authority, they're going to be talking to us about graduation options in just a few moments, but I know they're proud of that too, because they work with the high schools on an everyday basis. So tonight, we do have in attendance a couple of groups we want to recognize. I'm going to ask our district athletic director, Mr. Anthony Jenkins, to come forward. We have got 2 special groups, both from the same school. We want to recognize them this evening.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Like Ms. Russell said, we have 2 state championship teams from the same school. I think the last time this happened was in 2005, I believe, in South Haven Beach. But we're very blessed to have 2. I'd like to introduce the coaching staffs of the softball team of South Central. Coach Hicks is the head coach. Coach Speck is an assistant coach. Coach Smock is an assistant coach, and Coach Wheeler is an assistant coach. If you'll come forward, please. While they're coming forward, I just want to mention that this group beat Madison Central in the first round, they beat Clinton in the second round, and beat Northwest Rankin to win the North Had Championship. In the state championship game, they beat Harrison Central 4-1 and 3-1 to win the 6A state championship. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to present to you these girls. I assure you, they have represented our school district and themselves and their family and our school in a way that I have never seen done before. That you would be very proud to know every one of these girls, not only their accomplishments on the field, but off the field, and how well they are ambassadors for our school, our sport, and multi-talented athletes. We have a couple who are not in attendance tonight because they're playing volleyball this afternoon, and some that are celebrating this championship with their families. So I would like to present to you the ones that are in attendance, and thank you for having us here. Sterling James. Gracie Parsons. Ozra Davis. Christian Jones. Morgan Langley. Molly Mays, Bailey Smith, Holly Carrington, Hannah Randall, Chesney Beckham, Aaron Dale, Savannah Wilbanks, Anna Ray Mays, and Coach Wilson Speck. Again, thank you so much for the support that you give our extracurricular activities. Academically, I can tell you I'm an AP teacher, so I know how important AP is, and I know how important the things that we do from PSAT all the way to baseball, soccer, softball, all the things that we do that make our county great. It's not just about our academics, but the extracurricular really makes a difference. And so I thank you for what you do for us and for your support, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present these girls to you.
Good job, y'all done this one. Okay, I'm gonna get you to scoot just a little more. There we go. There we go. Did y'all use the other? Good job. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're through. Are you ready to take one?
Our next group is coached by Coach Monica, head coach, assistant coach, Coach Walls, assistant coach, Coach Miller, and assistant coach, Coach Simpson. Now, this group beat Tupelo in the first round, they beat Northwest Rankin in the second round, and beat Oxford to win the North Half Championship. They made it a little interesting in the state championship, so they went ahead and let St. George beat them 4-5 the first game, and they came back and beat George County 5-1, and then beat them 10-1. So at this time, you all come home.
I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity to stand before you today. I will say I wish I had a room full of players, but to say that they're ate up with baseball would be an understatement. I think we're covering Atlanta to Nashville to Hattiesburg, starting today and throughout the weekend. So they, part of our success is that we got a lot of guys that love the game and they don't want any time off. So they couldn't be with us today. Who I do have with us are two guys that are very important to me, very important to our program. Coach Jason Miller and Jeremy Simpson. Two of my assistant coaches. Coach Simpson's been with me for 6 years. Coach Miller 4 years. They do a tremendous job. Don't get a lot of credit for it. I'm the one that's got to stand up here, even though they're glad that they don't have to do that. But they do an outstanding job, and again, I just can't thank you all enough for being able to be recognized here, standing before you. Mr. Russellton and his leadership, Coach Jenkins, Mr. Johnston, just everything that we have to do in order to be successful is right at our fingertips because of this amazing school district. So again, thank you all for the opportunity to stand before you today. Thank you.
No, you're not gonna do it. All right, that's why you have to start. Yeah, they feel taller. strong. Eric? She does know, because she's short. Maybe not.
Congratulations again to our baseball and softball teams. Job well done. And we're so proud of y'all. Now, we're about to move into the business of the board meeting, and so you're welcome to attend, but at the same time, if you want to go, now be the time. All right. Thank y'all for coming.
All right, as they're stepping out, we'll move into our next portion, the final part of the superintendent's report. Over the last few months, Dr. April Holyfield Scott and Ms. Sherita Doherty, they are our specialists for our high schools. They have gone out and met with parents around the district. They went out to the schools at night to meet with the parents of middle school students to go over the new graduation options that have been put in place by the Mississippi Department of Education. Our incoming freshmen, these will apply to them, so they want to make sure that all the parents understood the graduation options, because it is a big change. But at the same time, I know our board members have requested to hear this presentation also, because as always, I know y'all want to keep up with the latest and greatest and what's out there. So at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. April Holyfield Scott and Ms. Sherita Doherty to come forward.
Good afternoon. Ms. Daugherty and I would like to talk to you about the new graduation requirements, as Mr. Hamilton said. I want to be clear from the beginning that these will apply to incoming freshmen in 18-19. Students who are currently in high school, these new rules will not apply to. We're going to talk about the traditional diploma requirement, and then we'll share the added endorsements with you.
Good afternoon. I'm going to begin with the traditional diploma. You have the PowerPoint in front of you, if you want to turn back. So this is the new requirement for incoming freshmen. They will have to declare an endorsement upon entering high school. The students are able to change their endorsements, but only with the parent consent. So I just want to note some of the biggest changes with the traditional diploma. Currently, our students are required to earn 26 credits to receive a traditional diploma. With the new requirements, incoming freshmen are only required to have 24 credits. The biggest differences between what we currently are required one is the math credits. So students have to earn 4 math credits currently, but 2 of those credits have to be above Algebra 1. With the incoming freshmen, the state just says 4 math credits. They do not specify that 2 of the credits have to be above Algebra 1. The other difference is the college and career readiness course. That is a new course that the state is mandating that every student pass and earn a credit in before graduating. So we will begin offering this credit in DeSoto County in 2020-2021. They can begin taking this course their junior year or their senior year, but it is a new course. Teachers are not required to have a specific endorsement, but they are required to have a teaching license. 26 credits and the 4 maths. And right now for the science, I want to note that it just says 3 science credits. And this is the minimum requirements in order for students to earn a traditional diploma.
So the next endorsement that students can receive, or the first endorsement that they can receive in addition to the traditional diploma, is a career and technical endorsement. And our students that attend our VOTEC campuses would be able to achieve this endorsement. Not all of our VOTEC students will achieve it, but it is for our VOTEC students. Notice that the main difference with the Carnegie units that are earned is with the CTE electives. They require 4 CTE electives, and those must be a 4-course sequential program. So for instance, if our students take the health sciences curriculum at our VOTAC, then those students would, in their junior and senior year, receive those 4 courses. Now, in addition to those Carnegie units that you see here, we have the additional requirements on the right side of the page. This is obviously in addition for a diploma in the state of Mississippi. Students for this endorsement must receive a GPA of 2.5. They must earn a silver level on ACT work keys. They must get the credits that we discussed, and they must successfully complete one of the following: a CTE dual credit course or a community college approved CTE articulated dual credit course, and we do have that agreement with Northwest. They must complete an industry-based work experience or the career pathway experience. We also offer that in our VOTAC, and we also offer where they can earn a State Board of Education approved national credential.
So the next endorsement is the academic endorsement. As you can see from what Dr. Scott said, all the endorsements require a certain GPA. So in order to receive the academic endorsement, students must have a 2.5 GPA, 26 credits, okay? Remember, the traditional diploma only required 24. So the biggest difference is here is in math. It still says 4 credits, but it does list that students must have 2 math credits above Algebra 1. Also for the science credits, even though it says 3 Carnegie units, 2 of those credits must be courses that are above Biology 1. Also, I want you to pay attention to the additional electives. So out of those electives, 2 of those electives must be CPC approved electives. Those are college preparatory curriculum that comes down from our IHLs, and counselors have a list of those they receive. So when students are making their course selections, they are provided a list so they will know which electives are considered the CPC electives. So the right side, you will see the additional. We definitely been promoting ACT, but now the state is also mandating certain sub-scores. So for students to receive the academic endorsement, they must earn an ACT sub-score of a 17 in English and a 19 in math in order to get this endorsement. They must also complete one of the following. They can take an AP course and receive a C or higher, or the IB course we don't currently offer in DeSoto County, or they can take a dual credit course and earn a C or higher. They must meet all of these requirements in order to earn an academic endorsement.
So the final endorsement is the distinguished endorsement. And you can see that it just ups the ante a bit from the academic endorsement that Ms. Daugherty just discussed. So the credits are a bit higher. You have 1 more science credit, half a social studies credit more, and half an additional elective credit. So more credits, and then also if you notice the additional requirements, instead of a 2.5, we go up to a 3.0. Instead of a 17 and 19 on the ACT, we move to an 18 in English and a 22 in math. And we also move up in the AP or dual credit. Instead of a C with the distinguished endorsement, students must earn a B.
So the next one, we're going to bring up Lori Davis, our Assistant Sped Director, to explain some options for our special education students.
So our graduation options for students with disabilities has also changed a little bit for our incoming ninth graders for the 18-19 school year. Of course, our students still have the option of obtaining a traditional high school diploma with the endorsements that Dr. Scott and Ms. Daugherty mentioned. But also, students who have been identified as having a significant cognitive disability, meaning that their cognitive abilities typically fall below a 70 and they have adaptive scores below a 70, they have an option of earning this alternate diploma. This alternate diploma is not equivalent to a traditional high school diploma, and the students who are working towards this alternate diploma must participate in the Mississippi Alternate Assessment. Students who obtain this alternate diploma will not go to a university or to a 2-year program or technical school. However, this diploma is preparing these students for possible work with following graduation. Also, changes to our graduation options for students with disabilities is there have been changes to the certificate of completion. There are different eligibility requirements to the certificate of completion. Students who have been identified as having a significant cognitive disability may obtain this alternate diploma or the certificate of completion, as well as our students who do not meet the significant cognitive disability criteria may receive a certificate of completion if they do not meet the requirements for a traditional high school diploma. The Mississippi Occupational Diploma is no longer in state law. It was signed out July 2017.
The last thing we'd like to share with you that has come down from the state is that there are rules now for early release, or what we sometimes refer to as work release. This is for incoming freshmen, so this won't affect us until those students become older, maybe juniors or seniors. So the rule is that students must have a 17 in English on the ACT and a 19 in math on the ACT. If they do not have those scores, then they may have all of the bulleted points that you see. So they may have, if they don't have the ACT score, then we can say if they have a 2.5 GPA, if they have met all of their math assessment requirements, meaning they passed all of their state tests, and they must be on track to meet diploma requirements with their Carnegie units, and be concurrently enrolled in courses called Essentials for College Math and or Essentials for College Literacy. If they meet all of those requirements, then they are eligible for work release.
So now we will take any questions if you have about the new graduation options. If not, we appreciate your time and allowing us to present these new graduation options to you. And if you have any questions in the future, we'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Ms. Davis, for being here and presenting to our board members also. Once again, these ladies did a great job going out, and they had large crowds when they went out to the schools because parents were very interested in this. Obviously, it affects graduation requirements moving forward. And that concludes my superintendent.
Thank you. Attorney's report.
Madam Chairman, there's really nothing to report in executive session or in litigation matters.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to approve the minutes for May 3rd, 2018, and May 17th, 2018 board meetings. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it. The motion passed. Okay, so. Consent agenda.
Madam President, I recommend that the board to approve the consent agenda.
I have a recommendation to approve consent agenda. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. New business, architectural services, Allen and Holsham Playground at Horn Lake Intermediate. Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am. We're requesting permission to enter into a contract agreement with Allen and Holsham to provide architectural services for construction of the new playground at Horn Lake Intermediate. This playground is for our kids in our child development center, and they're all medically or cognitively fragile. And so the playground equipment that we have there now is not fit for them to use. They have to have specialized equipment, so we're asking their permission to begin by entering into this contractual agreement.
Thank you.
Madam President, I recommend that the board to approve the contractual agreement to use architectural services of Allen Oshel for the playground equipment at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
I have a recommendation to accept the architectural services of Allen Oshel for the Horn Lake Intermediate School playground. Do I have this in a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. Permission to advertise for bids for the playground at Horn Lake Intermediate, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am, we're just requesting permission from the board to advertise for bids for the playground that we just described at Home Lake Intermediate School.
Okay.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve advertising bids for the playground at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
I have a recommendation to give permission to advertise for bids for the playground at Horn Lake Intermediate School. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. FY 2018 insurance renewal, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am, in your packet, you have a premium summary from South Group, and we got the settings in here. We can't tell you that question. But what you'll see in there is a slight increase in the premiums. That's mainly due to the increase in the value of the property being covered. And then nationally, there's been an increase in automobile premiums. So I'm requesting that the board accept this proposal to award affiliated and Liberty Mutual to carry out property and casualty insurance for the 18-19 school year.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the FY 18 insurance renewal.
I have a recommendation to renew property and casualty insurance for 2018-2019 school year. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. Permission to construct playground shade structures at DeSoto Central Elementary, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am. The Desoto Central Elementary PTO and their students have raised money to put out shade portions on the playground. Once those things are built, they'll be donated actually to the district, so that we're just asking permission to proceed with the project.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the construction of the playground shade structures at DeSoto Central Elementary School.
I have a recommendation to approve the construction of playground shade structures at DeSoto Central Elementary. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. Statement of revenue and expenditures for April 2018, Ms. Graves.
Our general fund revenues received so far through the year, the end of April, are $199,696,025. If we want to compare that to last year, the $194,902,981, we're up about 2%. That is mainly Avalon and MAUP. For all revenues received, we're at $245,827,875, as opposed to last year, $239,166,006, about 3% up. Our general fund expenditures, we're at $171,680,478, as opposed to last year, $169,030, $222. That's only a 2% increase, which is lower than what has been budgeted, so that's a great figure. All expenditures, we're at $227,709,904. Last year, we were $222,266,800. Again, 2%, which is a very low figure compared to when you're covering the cost of just the teacher pay rate step up, which is actually so it's a good.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for April 2018.
I have a recommendation to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for April 2018. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. Statement of cash flow for April 2018, Ms. Rose.
Our current cash balance in our district maintenance fund, which is our main bank account, is $111,323,754. Included in that is our invested balance of $26,673,824, and we're very excited. The last bid that y'all approved will interest rate on our regular rate account, so, that's gonna be beneficial to the district. All fund cash balances are $141,073,851.
Thank you.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the statement of cash flow for April 2018.
I have a recommendation to approve the statement of cash flow for April 2018. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. Combined balance sheet for April 2018, Ms. Graves.
Our fund balance for all general funds for April is $118,843,868. We compare that to last year at this time, $111,959,119. We're up about 6%, which is fantastic, of course. Remember, that's the last month of the year, so it will reverse likely for May and June. But it's still great.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the combined balance sheet for April 2018.
I have a recommendation to accept the combined balance sheet for April 2018. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. Certification of bank reconciliations for April 2018, Ms. Graves.
All bank statements have been reconciled with no exceptions.
That sounds great. Your recommendation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for April 2018.
I have a recommendation to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for April 2018. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second? Are there any questions or comments?
Madam President?
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to tell the finance department that y'all do really a great job, and we appreciate everything that the entire department does.
Thank you so
We're,
much.
we're gonna get a chance to brag on them Tuesday also, but I want you to know they've been working around the clock to get the budget ready. So they really have. You'll get another opportunity on Tuesday.
I know they are, working hard too. Where am I? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have the motion passed. Revised board policy IDFA, intramural interscholastic athletics. Ms. Weeks.
Yes, ma'am. Both of these policies that we're presenting today have the same change. On April the 6th, we received guidance from the MDE that they were going to begin calculating attendance for students based on 50%, based on federal guidance. So we revised our policies to change it from 63% to 50%. Then on May 30th, we received a second email from them, and they said they would be reporting both 50% and 63%, but that the 63% would be used for MAPP. So we're requesting to change our policies back to 63% based on the updated guidance that we received from them on May 30th.
All right.
So actually, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
It's either changed twice or have changed, however you want to look at it.
Okay. Your recommendation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy IDFA for intramural and interscholastic athletics.
I have a recommendation to approve the revised board policy IDFA, intramural interscholastic athletics. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. Revised board policy JBD, attendance, tardiness, and excuses, Ms. Weeks.
Yes, ma'am, it has the same change.
Back to
63%.
your recommendation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy JBD for attendance, tardiness, and excuses.
I have a recommendation to approve the revised board policy, JVD, attendance, tardiness, and excuses. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, motion passed. Personnel, Mr. Alexander.
Yes, ma'am. Personnel packet this evening, have afternoon, pages 1 through 7 are recommendations. 8 through 13 are personnel changes. Page 14 is a memo for myself for DCAC certified supplement of $1,000 for each exempt staff member that directly works with students at the DeSoto DeSoto County Alternative Program. Of course, DCAC is a program that serves students with disciplinary issues. Exempt employees are as follows: teachers, SPED teachers, intervention specialists, therapeutic specialist, and guidance counselor. Page 15 is a memo for myself to approve a 10% addition to the hourly rate for each teacher assistant that is employed at the alternative school. Page 16 is a memo for myself on the reclassification of what is currently the EL coaches to be EL specialists. This position will be a 210-day per year. Page 17 and 19 is the job description for EL specialist. This is a new position for the EL department. Description will not comply with our current specialist position. Page 20, memo for myself on the reclassification for the head nurse that currently reports to the assistant superintendent, from nurse coordinator to head nurse. The position will be paid on the RN pay scale. Page 21 through 23 is the job description for the head nurse. The only thing, basically, the title change from coordinator of health services. This will allow our supervisor of all nurses to be the highest paid nurse in the district. Page 24 is a memo for myself on the approval. The district had a new position of network administrator to serve under the technology department. The position will include responsibilities such as managing the digital firewall and monitoring the security of the network. The new position will be a 230-day per year, and be paid $58,000 annually. The salary paid from district funds and begin effective July 1st, 2018. Page 25 through 26 is the job description for the network administrator. Page 27 is a memo for myself and employees to work part-time status, as well as their rate of pay during the 18-19 school year. Page 28 is a memo for myself on part-time employees to work the 18-19 school year to be paid a salary that does not exceed 25% of the employee's average compensation as determined by PERS. For any employee who does not fill the position for the entire fiscal year due to a resignation, his or her pay be calculated for the daily rate of pay. Page 29 is a memo for myself on the 18-19 fees that include background check processing fee, ID badge replacement, and key file replacement. Page 30 is a memo from Hallmark, our Director of Child Nutrition, requesting permission to continue the pay of $13.50 of the 18-19 school year on 2 employees. Page 31 is a memo from Ms. Hallmark, requesting permission to add 10 food service workers substitute units to the staff. The position will be paid at a rate of $8.50 per hour. These positions will take the place of Kelly's Education Staffing Service. Pages 32 through 33 is the job description for food service worker substitutes. Page 34 is a memo from Ms. Hallmark, requesting permission to institute new cafeteria manager pay scale. The new pay scale will create a promotional system within the cafeteria manager job class. This scale was created for 2 reasons. One, to give more managers the opportunity for promotion to move from lower feeding schools to higher feeding schools, servicing schools, to have more qualified managers at the higher feeding sites. The new scale will also assist in reducing the operating costs for the department. In addition, monitoring systems are being installed in all schools, meaning that the managers will no longer have to check their coolers and freezers during breaks such as Thanksgiving, Christmas, spring break, summertime, which amounts to approximately 42 days of work. Page 35 is the cafeteria manager pay scale. Page 36 is a memo from Ms. Ingram, our Director of Federal Programs. She's requesting the supplement of $15,709 for administrative services provided by our coordinator of JVC Educational Services. The supplement is assigned to Mr. Ward, who will provide teaching services from 7:30 to 3:30 every day, and all administrative duties conducting during the additional time. Page 37 is a memo from Ms. Ingram on the approval of a new position of mental health therapist. The Title IV mental health therapist will provide counseling and casework services to our students. This will be achieved through individual and or group sessions. The position is funded through the Title IV Part A grant, and the mental health therapist will work on a 205 salary pay scale. This will give us 2 employees at that position now. Page 38 is a memo from Ms. Ingram. The Federal Programs Department requesting approval of 2 Title I EL teacher units. The new teacher EL teacher units will be employed for 187 days in contact with the 187-day teacher pay scale. Page 39 is a memo from Ms. Hall, Special Education Supervisor on the Special Education Department requesting the addition of an extended school year teacher. This lady will be added to the ESY budget on 4. She was added 4/30/18. However, human area causes her to be left off the May 10th board meeting. This employee began working on June 4th this week, so we ask that she be compensated for what she's worked prior to this board meeting. Page 40 is computer technology and instruction technology salary scale for 18-19. Page 41 is sign language interpreter salary scale. Page 42, bilingual interpreter and translator pay scale. 43, classified pay scale. 44, office manager and non-certified pay scale. Staff accountant. Page 45, maintenance salary scales. Page 46, maintenance salary scale for central services. Page 47, emphasis pay scale, school level. Page 48, administrative assistant 1 and data customer support for the 18-19 school year. Page 49, occupational therapist salary scale. Page 50, the DCS lead manager's pay scale. Page 51 is the transportation department pay scale. Pages 52 through 54 is athletic and extracurricular activity supplements for the 18-19 school year. Page 55 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hasselman, our Director of Special Education, 2 employees who will provide audiological services for summer testing. The number of hours have been determined by the need of service will be paid at $27 an hour and start on June the 8th and end on July 31st. Page 56, request for pay from Ms. Hasselman. 1 employee will work with the substitute PCA for ESY. His during the PCA Central Elementary during the regular school year, hours will be determined but will not exceed 96 hours. Pay of $11.03 per hour starting 6/11 and ending 7/19. Page 57 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hasselman on summer school special education assessment employees starting 6/8, ending at 7/31. And 58 is a list of those employees working with summer assessments. Page 59 is a request from Ms. Hasselman, Director of Special Education, on employee providing behavioral services for 1 special education student or 2 30-minute sessions per week during ESY for the DCSE Fed students. 12 hours will be worked at $26.57 per hour, beginning June 8th and ending July 19th. Page 60, request for additional pay from Ms. Hasselman on the employee to work as a PCA in Southern Central High School ESY. 80 hours total at $97 per hour starting June 11th, ending July 19th. Page 61 is a request for Mr. Williams, our Assistant Superintendent of Operations, on additional ESY employees from June 8th to July 19th. Page 62 is the ESY 2018 additional staff. Page 63 is a request for Mr. Williams on an Asian interpreter as needed for summer assessments. She'll work 10 hours and be paid $10.50 per hour beginning June 8th and July 31st. Page 64 is a request from Mr. Williams on additional drivers and monitors needed for ESY due to the increase in students and changes in routes. Start date is June 1st and will end July 19th. Page 65 is a list of the staff members. Page 66 is additional pay from Mr. Levi Williams, Director of Transportation. Drivers that transport our students who are enrolled in 3rd grade reading program this summer. Program starts 6/4 and ends on 6/29. Due to the start of the program and the submission of this form, is asking for our drivers to be compensated for the days they have already worked. Total days to work is up to 20 from June 4th through June 29th. Page 67 is a list of those drivers for the 3rd grade reading program. Page 68 is a request from Mr. Williams. Again, for students who will enroll in the Jump Start program beginning June 4th and ending June 29th. Page 69 is a list of those drivers for Jump Start. Page 7 is a request from Mr. Williams on drivers who transport students participating in the ELL program at Falls Elementary School. Starts July 16th and ends July 27th. Page 71 is a list of those drivers. Page 72 is a request from Ms. Green, our Director of EL. Unemployed will be working on packing guides and resources for teachers to use upon the beginning of the school year. Total hours 115, rate of pay $27 per hour, 6/11, ending 7/6. Page 73 is additional pay for Ms. Green, one employee who will work the JDC during summer months. The students are required to yield services, $27 per hour, June 8th through July 31st. Page 74 is a request for additional pay from Mr. Tony, who is principal at Point Lake Middle School, on an employee who will work registration since the MSIS clerk he has is out for medical reasons. Total hours of work will be 40 at $11.04 per hour, beginning June 11th and ending June 15th. Page 75, additional pay form from Ms. Ingram on 2 employees who will work as teacher associate during enrichment period at JDC in July 1st and June 30th at $27 per hour. Page 76, request for additional pay from Ms. Emily Nelson, Director of Leadership, on 2 employees who will work on summer testing for the gifted program, 40 hours per week beginning June 11th and ending July 31st at $27 an hour. Page 77 is request for additional pay from Mr. Thomas Spencer, Director of Academic Education, employee who will work with Great Literacy Resources for a total of 80 hours beginning June 8th, ending July 30th, $27 per hour. Pages 78, 79 is a job description for assistant principals with combined elementary and secondary descriptions into one. Pages 80 through 82 is job description for Magnolia special education teacher. Change, we added participate in monthly professional development regarding aggressive, verbal, and physical behaviors of students. We also changed from seldom to weekly for working in areas that are somewhat uncomfortable due to sometimes drought, noises, temperature variations, other conditions. Working in an area that is uncomfortable due to extreme temperature, noise levels, and other conditions. Working with equipment or performing procedures where careless could result in minor cuts, bruises, or muscle pulls. All the following is changed from daily working conditions to weekly to show the difference in working with those kids on a regular basis. Please remember the increase in pay we're giving for that also. Pages 83 and 85 is job description for Magnolia Special Education Assistants. Those changes above I just mentioned are the same. Pages 86 and 88 is a job description for DCAC Therapeutic Interventionist Behavior Technician. We added managed student behavior to provide productive learning opportunities for all students. Maintain crisis prevention, business certification, and implement those skills with fidelity, and maintain behavior modification plans and behavior intervention plans. Pages 89 through 91 is job description for DCAC regular education teachers. Those same changes. And the same, pages 92 through 94 is job description for DCAC intervention coaches. Work 187 days, the same changes. Pages 95 and 97 is job description for DCAC instructional assistant. Those same changes. Pages 98 through 100 is job description for DCAC special education teachers. That is the de-escalation of aggressive verbal and physical behavior effectively to ensure the safety of student and members of staff. Pages 101 through 103 is job description for DCAC special education assistants. The same change. Pages 104 through 106 is job description for DCAC counselors. We added managed student behavior to provide productive learning opportunities for all students and maintain crisis prevention certification and implement those skills with fidelity, maintain behavior modification plans and behavior intervention plans, and de-escalate aggressive verbal and physical behavior effectively to ensure safety of students and staff members. Page 107 through 109 is job description for special education assistants. That job description is new. Job description 110 through 112, job description for special education teachers. That job description is new. Page 113 through 115 is job description for school nurse, and that's just the title change from coordinator of health services to head nurse. I'll do that first report too. Pages 116, 118 is job description for curriculum accreditation and management information system. We added facilitating subpoena compliance for active and inactive students. Pages 119 and 121 is job description for investigators during 30-day. We added work for collaborative with parents, students, and administrators to assist with resolutions regarding student conflict and bullying accusation as requested. Execute such other duties related to school harassment, intimidation, bullying as requested. Bullying is requested by the superintendent of Southern County Schools as per designate. Pages 122 to 124, job description for investigator with those same changes. Pages 125 to 127 is job description for security and school resource officer with those same changes.
presentation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve personnel as presented.
I have a recommendation to approve personnel as presented. Do I have this in a motion? Do I have a second? Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, the motion passed. At this time, we'll have, go to request to, oh, I'm sorry. I almost left out you. You're so quiet back there.
We have certain issues to address in the executive session.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Finley. I don't know how I forgot you, but I did, I'm sorry. Okay, now, at this time, we'll go to request to appear. Mr. Franklin, are you here? Okay.
So, I got looking up here for the board today. I live at 353 Riley Street, and the bus parking lot is right behind our house. And there's a serious problem with dust. And when we moved that, well, when they put the bus parking lot out there, we were told there would be approximately 20 buses. I've counted 44 out there, and dust is everywhere. This right here is one day's dust off my table on my patio. This is come off the playground. And this is 1 week with no buses running. And people are getting sick over there, and something has to be done. So I'd rather y'all handle it, because it's fixing to be a big problem if it's nothing done about it. I got videos to show y'all the dust if you want to see it. But also, it's all in the cases, all the videos. It is bad. And there's four other bus parking lots in the county, I don't know what they as bad as that one, but the kids over there, if the mamas find out about it, it will be a bigger problem. And I hope and pray that y'all will solve this problem before school starts this fall.
Yeah, let me just make a couple of comments. I know that Mr. Chase and I have already been discussing this issue, and there are some possible remedies that we're looking at, and we're going to try those, and we'll see. I'd certainly love to talk to you about it a little bit more. I'll get you my contact information so we can talk.
I got 10 videos,
Good.
buses coming in and everything.
Very good, but they certainly are aware of that, and I know that we're going to talk about some possible remedies or to try to address that.
Chase called me yesterday and said there's gonna be a water truck, but the water truck's not gonna do any good. You're gonna have to put that white limestone down with DBST and put more on top of it, and it locks it in the face, and it don't make any more dust.
Well, and we'll be getting some professional advice on what's the best way to remedy this, because obviously, it's, you know, we want to make sure that we take care of the problem. We also have to make sure that we can do it at a cost that's not extremely prohibitive either. We want to make sure we do it right. So I'll get you my contact information so you can give me a call.
All we want is, you know, the problem solved.
Sure, we understand that, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Ms. Harrington, are you here? Yes. You can come and address the board.
I certainly appreciate the opportunity to appear before you all today. It's such a blessing to be here. I wanted to share with you about the recent statistics, and I'm sure many of you possibly know those, and some may not. Over 3 million young people are bullied every year, and bullying often leads to suicide. Suicide has doubled in middle school students since 2007. Just today, there was a Washington Post report that in every school in the United States that suicide has increased either 30 to 50%. Most have increased at least 30 to 50%. My heart and my passion is because I lost my son to suicide, my teenage son. And as a result of that, I've started an organization called Firefly Outreach. After starting my organization, I started working with the governor of Mississippi, and he gave me a letter of endorsement. And I've gone through schools all over the state of Mississippi, and I've spoken to thousands of young people in hopes of saving lives. This past few months back, I was contacted by Steve Hopkins, the representative, as well as some other people after the loss of Andy Leach to suicide. His mother, Cheryl, is here today, 12 years old, 12. And unfortunately, this is a broken record for me. I hear about it all the time because I talk to kids on a regular basis. You know, when I began doing this several years ago, I never dreamed that I would find what I've seen. But since my starting this outreach, I have talked to countless young kids that are suicidal, that walk up to me and say, Ms. Harrington, I go into the schools and I share my story of the empty chair. And I give these young people a real picture of the aftermath of suicide, that what you're thinking, this is a reality of it, that I'm left with an empty chair for the rest of my life. And I'll tell you, it's the most gut-wrenching thing that I have ever done in my life, but I'll tell you it's the most fulfilling thing, simply because at the end of the day, when I go home, I can say at least one child was saved today. At least one child that came up to me and said, Ms. Harrington, your story changed my life. Because of your story, I'm not going to take my life today. And this is all over the state of Mississippi that I've experienced this. And since teaming up with the governor, I teamed up also with Matt Kennon, which is a country music singer. And I think you all received a packet. I sent that. So Matt traveled with Troy McClain all over the state of Alabama and worked tirelessly and spoke to over 250,000 students. Well, there was other states as well, but primarily they did their major campaign in Alabama. It was a very successful campaign. The leaders, the district attorney, the governmental leaders were very, very pleased by it. He has written a song that has had 13 million views on YouTube called, what is it? Make the Call. Yeah, The Call. That's the name of it. But the other song that he's written, please forgive me, the other song that he's written that's really, I think, wonderful it's called You Had to Pick on Me. So what they did in the state of Alabama is they did a video contest and got every school involved. And in the video, where the kids would do the video contest, they would create the videos, they would write the script and all that. And so it got the kids interacting, the parents interacting, and also the school as well. And there was just so many rave reviews on this program. So recently I partnered back with him and talking again with him about coming into Desoto County and some of the larger school districts in the state of Mississippi. Currently, I've been going alone for the past 6 months in Mississippi, but I really wanted to bring his program in because he brings a different perspective, and kids love his music because it's just wonderful. He's just very popular with the kids, and in Alabama, they just loved him. So it's a heavy, deep subject, you know, and I talked to them about their choices and, you know, asked them to commit to a 10 promise pledge, where I think you have a copy of that as well, and we give them glow-in-the-dark bracelets. So it's a great program, so we're wanting to bring that program into DeSoto County, hopefully this coming year.
I will say this, I appreciate you taking my phone call the other day and after with the conversation that we had.
Thank you.
And that we had we already had some programs we were looking at this school year and that we had already committed to, but we also had talked about the possibility of teaming up, because we're already teaming up with the Hope Center,
Right.
which we had worked
Yes.
with before. And so we're
Yes.
looking at doing that for next school year along with other programs. I may ask Ms. Weeks in just a moment to touch on that.
Yes.
One of the things that I know we talked about the other day, it's something we talk about as a board, is that, I mean, back when we were all kids, you know, you go to school and you face the bully at school. Now, I mean, it's 24/7. And that's the big challenge that is not, I mean, when I talk to superintendents across the state, we all have the same concerns. Obviously, no one wants any bullying going on in the school at all. And then you're facing that on top of the fact of kids have instant access to that all the time. Is that what you're seeing? Did you speak to other groups?
I would say the cyberbullying is probably a huge major part of it. I would say at least 60 to 65% of it. I hear about it all the time. Right now, what we're doing also, since now we have a stop bullying car tag, the governor, the proceeds will go to my organization. So the governor just signed that off this past month. And so we're excited about that. So the state of Mississippi will now have stop bullying car tags that parents can purchase to help bring awareness to stop bullying in the state of Mississippi. That's one of the biggest things. The other things, we're working hand in hand with Lieutenant Governor, some other things that we're trying to implement and to change laws and to, you know, get protection in the school systems for police officers, metal detectors, and some other things, and licensed psychologists. I think one of the things that I've seen too is, you know, going into the schools and talking to all these kids that are, you know, have a lot of issues, a lot of things going on, that the counselors, which are really academic counselors, are faced with all of these issues that really don't have the professional credits to be able to address these situations. So what we're wanting to do is implement a licensed psychologist in each, well, what I'm asking for is in every school in the state of Mississippi. That's what we're at. My passion is. And so, you know, if we could just get licensed psychologists in the major schools and then maybe in the small, whatever, depending the number of students, but it's just really critical that we get the resources out there. You know, with the Kind Child and what we're doing with this campaign with a car tag under my organization, is we're doing a curriculum is teaching kids to be kind and kids doing random acts of kindness. And so, you know, we have to talk about those things and start at an early age. But we must address these issues with bullying, and because like I said, bullying often leads to suicide. And so it's just critical that we deal with these issues. It's one of the biggest things that I've seen since I've been doing this. And I just truly have such a heart and a passion. And unless you've actually buried a child, I guess you can't have this kind of passion that I have and the passion that Cheryl has. But it is, and for me, when I go into the schools, the main thing that I'm looking at when I go into these schools, in the back of my mind, I have a bullseye. I have my eye on that one kid. What is it? Where's the one child that I can speak to that's about to go home and take his life today? And that's critical. And you know, all these other programs are wonderful and they're great. And I would hope that you all would support a Mississippi program instead of a New York program. But I mean, it's just really critical to talk to these kids, and when they hear my story, it does make a difference. And for me, it's just simply one thing and one thing only. It's just to save a life. And I know that just even from statistics and what I've shared earlier, that we got suicidal kids in our schools. Do we sit back and wait, or do we address it? Do we go ahead? Do we talk about it? What if I had come in last year and spoken? Would Andy Leach still be alive? I would say he probably would be. Because once these kids see this and hear my story of the empty chair, it gives them a real picture. It's like when kids are young, they've not learned to process through when something happens in their lives. It's, well, I'm just going to kill myself. I'm just going to kill myself. And what happens is they don't really understand that this is a permanent answer to a temporary problem. But when I come before them from a mother's perspective and pour my heart out to these kids, I mean, these kids come up to me, hugging on me, loving. I mean, it's just amazing. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. but it does save and impact lives. And so we're excited about working with the governor and what we're doing. We've made a huge impact in the state of Mississippi thus far and still have a lot of work to do, so. But I totally appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
We look forward to working with you on that, and that's something we're going to continue to have conversations with. Ms. Weeks and I were talking about the other day. You touched on the counseling side. Could you talk just a moment about that? Because I know you've been very involved in that here lately.
Well, you know, in response to all the school shootings that have happened around the country, and also bullying, one of the things we determined as a district is that we want to focus on the root of the problem and not just some of the symptoms that are out there, because we know that many times hurt people hurt others.
Absolutely.
And so we have put together a department here in our district that will just be taking off in the next couple of weeks. But we have hired a director of mental health, whose sole responsibility within the district is to address mental health issues across our schools and work with our students, work with our parents, and share with them strategies that they can use, places they can reach out to get help, and just what resources are available, not just within the school, but within the community. And so Tawana Williams is going to be serving in that position, and she is in the process now of putting together a survey for parents so that she can get a feel from our parents as to what resources they feel like they need or what they feel like they already have access to, and so that we can use that to guide our program. And like you mentioned, it's so important to start young. And she's already begun meeting with our counselors about what is it we need to do in those primary grade levels to teach our students to be kind and to be focused on the needs of others and to just demonstrate that empathy that is so important.
Absolutely.
And so we have that in the process. And as Mr. Usleton mentioned, we do have some other programs that we've worked with in the past, and we're going to continue to have those partnerships with them that are going to be speaking with all of our middle schools in the fall, and as well as working with our parents in the evening. So we look forward to working with you as well and partnering to just expand this program and grow it as much as we can to serve the students as best we can.
Absolutely, thank you so much, yes. Well, I was having a conversation the other day, this counselor, well, psychologist I had spoken with, she said to me, she said, in all my 30 years of doing counseling, she said, for the first time in my life, she said, I was sitting before a school shooter. And it really, it just, I was taken back because, but then we think and we have to understand and realize that we're not immune to that in Mississippi because Pearl was the very first one. So, you know, it's just all about mental health, protecting our children and doing whatever we can do to make a difference in young kids. So,
Ms. Harrington, let me make a comment. I'm Jim Keith, I'm the board attorney. But I also have the privilege of working as a board attorney for a lot of school districts in Mississippi. We have 141 school districts. And I can't support enough the statement that you made about getting a licensed psychologist in every school. You know, Texas did this several years ago.
yes.
And they have a licensed psychologist in every school. We've asked the legislature repeatedly to put funding in that arena. I have a daughter who's a licensed psychologist. Unfortunately, she lives in Georgia, not Mississippi. I wish she were here. We can find her a job. I promise you that. Because it is a matter of letting kids know that they do not have to put up with this conduct.
Absolutely.
And they need to know where they can go for help. Because as you know, in your research, kids typically do not report it themselves.
Right.
They do not want to report because they think the bullying may get worse or nobody will believe them. So we're trying to teach kids around the state is that there's no such thing as an innocent bystander.
Right.
That you must report when you have one of your friends who's being bullied. And so there's a lot of training going on around the state in that regard, and I certainly appreciate your effort. I will say this about this school district. I think they're ahead of the curve, just the programs that she's talking about. But I've been involved with this district off and on for about 25 years, and I can tell you the things that they do with counseling and psychologists and programs that are geared toward kids is ahead of the curve in Mississippi. Is it perfect? No. We all know it will never be perfect, but we're not going to give up. The training that they do for their teachers, and our teachers understand and even our bus drivers understand, they're the eyes and ears of the administration, so that we can see when we have a child who comes to school who's troubled. And we're trying to make sure that they understand this information you don't sit on, you give that to the administration. Because like you said, we can save one child and we have done our job for that day. So your effort is commendable. Obviously, it came about in circumstances that nobody would ever wanted, but the fact that you're willing to take this on and move forward is very, very commendable. And but I do want you to know that this district here is really doing a lot of great things in this arena. Still have work to do, we know that, but certainly appreciate you being here and helping in this regard.
Yes, and I do, and there's just a lot of, I think, of parents that too have had issues with the bullying and reporting the bullying and things like that have been said. So, and I appreciate everything you all are doing, and it's a collective effort on all our parts, and I just appreciate the opportunity to stand here today, and so I look forward to working with you all.
We'll be back in touch with you in just a few hours.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you, Ms. Aaron, thank you for coming.
Is there someone, Ms. Jones or Mr. Jones here? Okay. All right, Willoughby? All right, sir, just 1 second. Since this is regarding a student matter, you'll have to be heard in the executive session because it's personal. So you'll come into the executive session and be heard. All right? All right, this is the first meeting of the month, so if you have a public comment that you'd like to address to the board, you can come forward at this time. I don't see, okay, you. Yes, ma'am.
Sarah Edmiston.
Yes.
Rights and Insurance, but I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to serve y'all. It's an honor to work with the schools. Y'all do a great job, and I love working with you, so I want you to know that I appreciate it.
Thank you, we appreciate you too.
I have 2 grandsons that graduated DeSoto Central, and they're part of that 90 scholarship.
Oh, happy grandparents and parents, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, at this particular time, I need a consideration motion to go into executive session for student matters in discipline.
I make the motion that we consider going to an executive session for the discipline matter and for the Willoughby's matter with them.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Mr. Chase will come out and let you know if we're going to stay in executive session.